Hi folks. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about the song by Burt Bacharach called Anyone Who Had a Heart, which was originally recorded by Dionne Warwick. It's actually a really beautiful song and also quite interesting in terms of its harmony and the chords. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on here. So just to be clear, this is not like a tutorial about how to play it on the piano. I haven't worked out like nice voicings and a nice way to play it. This is just purely talking about the theory of the song, the chord structure. So yeah, it was originally done by Dionne Warwick. The other famous versions that I know about are Cilla Black and Luther Vandross. I don't really like the Cilla Black version. I think it's too similar to the Dionne Warwick version. And the Luther Vandross version is cool, but it's like a completely different kind of smooth 80s vibe. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of Dionne Warwick. I don't think she's that great an artist. And I think that's maybe one reason why this song isn't more famous than it should be. Because if it had been done by better artists, I think it would be more famous. Excuse me. Yeah, actually, Nancy Wilson, I think would have been amazing to sing this song because she's such a dramatic singer. So yeah, I'm just going to run through the song, run through the theory. I've not really prepared this much, so this is not going to be slick. I'm not going to edit it. It is what it is. If somebody finds it useful, that's great. Okay, so just a quick word about Burt Bacharach. He's known by a lot of people as being a bit of a schmaltzy, cheesy composer, songwriter. But I mean, if you look at his list of songwriting credits, it's really incredible. Some of the most famous songs over the last century were written by him, often together with the lyricist Hal David. And what people might not know about him is that, he actually had a very heavy classical background. He was a very good classical pianist. He studied orchestration and composing and arranging in classical style. And he studied a lot of very modern 20th century classical music. So that could explain why his songs often have a real sophistication to them, and he's not scared to sometimes go off into quite strange keys and modulations, and also to sometimes employ strange rhythms as well. So he was a strange mix of, he also had a bit of a jazz background, so he was a strange mix of pop with some jazz mixed in there, and also this sort of experimental, daring side, which came, I guess, from the modern classical. So yeah, maybe to start by talking about the rhythm of the song. This song was a little bit notorious for being hard to play. I read that in an. Let me just check if I'm recording here. I'm recording. Yeah. It was a little bit notoriously hard to play in terms of rhythm, and which I heard Burt Bacharach said himself in an interview. But I think it's kind of weird because actually the rhythm is quite simple. It's just in 6/8. And it's mostly, blocks of 4, kind of standard structure. The complication is that there's one bar every time the A minor chord comes around for the first time, you get a bar of 9/8, followed by a bar of 6/8 of A minor. So it sounds, that kind of throws you off every time it comes around. So just to show how it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. That's what it is. So if you remember that every time you come around and you hit that A minor chord again, that first bar is 9/8. Then you'll be fine. And I think later in the song there's another part where there's like extra 2 bars as well. But apart from that, that's the only strange thing. Okay, so the song starts on that A minor chord. And it goes down to there. So we're basically going from A minor down to a F, basically F major 7. So before we've heard any more of the song, we could probably say to ourselves, well, we're going da, da. We're in C major because we've got the relative minor, and then we're going to go down to the 4. Okay, so that's not what happens, and that's kind of why the next thing that happens is quite surprising. So we go. it goes. So it basically goes. So, yeah, I mean, what's that doing? That that note is definitely not either in A minor. It's not in C major or A minor. So if we just go through those four chords, the three chords. So this is really like this is a suspension. So this is really the chord. So we have. So if we look at that note, we say, well, what major scale has got a B flat in it? Well, that's going to be F major. So maybe we're in F. Okay, but if we're talking about how the actual feel of the song feels, it really doesn't feel like F is an important note there. So what we're actually in is a mode. We're in, I think it's the Mixolydian mode. So the note, the scale built on the third of the major. So we're basically in a minor key with a flattened 9. So because when we play those three chords, we feel like the A is the strongest note. So actually, at the beginning of the song, we're really in A minor, which is, I think it's, Mixolydian. So, okay, so that, and then it goes back again. And then, where do we go from here? We go to. So what's happening there? Okay, basically, I think probably what happened was Burt Bacharach came up with these. I'm going to check my recording. Yep, came up with these first three chords, and he says to himself, "Okay, well, where can I go from here?" And obviously, his experience as a songwriter, composer, meant that he had probably in his head 50 things that he could do from here. But one of the most obvious things that you can do is you can say, well, where can I go from here? Well, I could imagine, because we got a major chord here, a major triad, we could say, well, what happens if that is the 5 of another key, which is E flat. So he probably messed around and probably very quickly, and then he thought, well, I can just take that movement and just move it up a fourth and repeat it, which is what you get there, which takes him to the E flat major. And then he probably thought, well, is this where I'm going, or can I just do the same trick again and say, what is this the 5th of, the dominant of? And he arrives at the A flat major. So just to quickly run through, we go. Sorry. And then we land on the A flat major. So at this point, we've really moved out of our key, because we're now, and we were, now we're, which is not, it's just not a related key. So, okay, from here, the next part of the song, which is the chorus, is pretty diatonic and standard. So we just go from, because we're now in A flat major, and then we go to the C minor. So all we're doing is we're going chord 1 in A flat major, chord 3, chord 4, chord 5, the dominant, and then he repeats it. And the next chord is probably the most sweet, beautiful change of the whole song, which is he goes to the C major. Okay, so what's happening there? Obviously, it's hard to know what the thought process was, but he found himself here, back in A, because he's running through this 3, 4, 5, 1. But he knows he needs to get back to here for the next verse. So he probably again had a bag of tricks in his head from how can I get from here back to the relative minor, basically to get back to a minor key, which is what this is. He probably said, well, he probably quickly came to the idea, well, I can try to play the relative major chord, which is the C major. And then he realized that that's just a really beautiful chord. And then it gets him back to the A minor. So it basically goes like this. And then we're back into the second verse. Okay, and it's not an extremely smooth movement to go from here back to, is not very smooth, but the orchestration, the way they do it with a sort of a descending string kind of slide, playing that, is really beautifully done in the original song. So yeah, I mean, I think it's really interesting to wonder how he came up with the song, and I think he basically just he had his bag of tricks, and he knew all the different options he could to get back to his original key, and he just tried some things and he hit on that. Or maybe the melody came first, and it's hard to know. So there we're back here. So basically, the song repeats. We get another verse, another chorus, and then we get another verse with a sax solo, and then the song moves into the last chorus and the outro. So again, and then that repeats again. There. So, and then normally it'd have gone back to the C major, but instead it goes here to the F major. Which is interesting because basically now it's we started the song kind of in F, and then we went to A flat major, and at the end of the song it kind of uses this instead of and then the next chord is so that's a D flat major 7, and basically that's basically the chord 4 of A flat major. just basically repeats around that on the outro. So yeah, that kind of covers it. Really beautiful song. If anybody's got any different opinions about how to analyze the theory in this song, yeah, put it in the comments. Yeah, Burt Bacharach's this really fantastic composer, songwriter. I think that that he always let the lyric and the melody guide his choices in chords, and he was never scared to do something strange. And I think it's actually quite instructive for us. I mean, these days, modern pop music is so basic. It's so based around ear candy and simple, very, very simple chords. It's really interesting to know that there was actually a time when the public could accept really quite jazzy, strange modulations, chords, and that was considered pop music. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. I'm going to wrap it up and take it easy.